Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's jam.
What is up guys, G here, welcome back to another video. Today I want to cover DraftKings for you. They just reported earnings this morning, which I think had some good and bad. They also recently announced a new market expansion and also finalized that golden nugget acquisition. So I want to cover all that and give you guys my thoughts. As a long-term investor, I still believe this one has a huge opportunity ahead, but in the short term and in this current market condition, I do see some potential downside, but don't worry, that's going to give us an opportunity to grow our position. Now make sure to watch to the end of the video because I want to give you guys my take on the technical chart analysis and also share with you guys some options flow data using the Unusual Whales platform. If you guys are interested in signing up for the Unusual Whales, I will put my discount link in the description and also in the pinned comments. That will let you guys save a little bit and lock you in at that price for lifetime. And before we start, don't forget to smash the like button. These videos take a long time to make, so I do really appreciate all the support you guys are giving me. So DraftKings today is down almost 9%, trading at $13.15. We are down a little more after hours, but that kind of basically reflects the market. Yesterday we had a huge sell-off in the overall SPY and NASDAQ. DraftKings average volume is usually about 25 million, but with earnings today, obviously our volume is going to be higher. The volume for today is about 41 million, but just based off of the amount of downside for today, I do think that most of this volume was going to be on the short side. Moving over to a breakdown of their earnings, they did end up raising their guidance for the fiscal year. Most of that revenue is going to come from their B2C segment, which is going to generate about 400 million in revenue. And comparing that to last year's Q1, it's about a 44% increase. And like I said, they did raise their guidance by about 50 million, so that is now going to bring them up to about 1.9, about 2 billion for the full year. Another great thing that came out of the report was the monthly unique payers. They increased this by about 29%, bringing in about 2 million payers in Q1. And with inflation on everyone's mind, they did reiterate that no inflationary pressures had impact on their business in Q1, which is great to see because that would be a big concern in investors' mind. Now, despite a very strong start to their financial year, reporting better than their expected revenue, raising their guidance for 2022, and continually increasing their monthly unique payers, one of the bad things that really came from the report is the operating expenses for this quarter. This has been a concern for us for a while, and they did not surprise us. They reached $930 million in operating expenses in Q1. That is a 46% increase year over year. On top of that, DraftKings also reported a net loss of $468 million during the quarter. So I think this is definitely still a concern for me and I'm sure some of the other investors. So this is something that we'll just have to kind of track as we go forward. Now they do expect some of these costs to come down, especially with the acquisition of the golden nugget, but we'll talk more about that later in this video. So earnings definitely had some good and some bad, kind of a mixed bag again, but we did get some additional news that they soon could start participating in the Ontario sports betting market. They have plans to launch the sportsbook in Ontario in the second quarter, so that means anytime from now until the end of June. They still do need to receive approval from the AGCO before they can actually start launching the product and start taking wagers. So if you guys don't know about Ontario sports betting market, they just launched April 4th. They had about 30 operators apply for the license, but about only 13 actually got approved to start taking bets on launch date. So Ontario actually represents about 40% of Canada's population. If you compare that to the US states, it'd probably be like the 5th largest state in the US, just based off of population. For this year, I think Ontario's gambling market is going to be worth about $1.6 billion. So that is going to be a huge market for any of these sports betting operators. I also read that by 2026, they expect or forecast about $3.27 billion in gross revenue based off Ontario's market. So out of those 13 operators, obviously the ones that did get approved are FanDuel, BetMGM, Caesars, The Score, Bet365, and PointsBet. DraftKings did say that they are working very closely with regulators to bring their sportsbook app to Ontario as soon as possible. So hopefully they can get that soon because FanDuel, BetMGM are very huge competitors and they are already behind about a month, which I don't think is too long, but definitely don't want to keep those guys waiting. I don't think DraftKings will have trouble expanding into Ontario just because of the name recognition and the brand exposure. They're obviously one of the leading sports betting operators in the US, and I'm sure everyone in Canada has heard about them. So that on its own is kind of marketing, but I do think that DraftKings will still spend a lot on marketing and customer acquisition, but we'll just have to wait for the the next earnings to get an update on that. Just a quick DraftKings overview update. DraftKings did mention on the call that they have currently 17 states active and are live with its iGaming platform in 5 states. Their next target launches are going to be Ohio and Maryland, with a potential future in California. I really do think that Ohio and California are going to be huge. I think Ohio is going to be a huge market because they have a lot of names coming out from that state. They have the Jake Paul brothers on the football side. You have the Cleveland Browns, which has a really good quarterback now, Deshaun Watson. So I think that'll definitely bring some hype into the NFL for them. And they also do have the Super Bowl champions Cincinnati Bengals with Joe Shiesty. So a lot of big names coming out, and I think that's going to be a great market. For California, they just received enough signatures to make the ballot this coming November. So hopefully all that goes through and they can start legalizing coming into 2023. Now I want to move over to the DraftKings acquisition of Golden Nugget Casino. They just announced this on May 5th. This is going to help DraftKings leverage Golden Nugget's established brand to broaden reach into the new customer segment and also enhance combined companies' iGaming product offerings. As you guys know, DraftKings really been lagging on the iGaming department, so this is going to help them catch up to some of the competition. But also, they're also going to be using DraftKings' vertically integrated tech stack and use some of Golden Nugget's unique capabilities like the live dealer. Now, do note that the Golden Nugget acquisition is just going to basically include the iGaming team. It's not going to include the brick and mortar Golden Nugget casinos, so no physical locations. So mainly just acquiring the technology and all the iGaming product offerings offered from the Golden Nugget. Now don't be discouraged just because we don't get the physical locations. That would probably bring more cost and it would be a lot of upkeeping. So I actually think it's a good idea not to get the physical locations. On top of that, this is going to give DraftKings a nice relationship with Golden Nugget regardless. Tillman Fertitta says this is going to be an alliance unlike any other in the digital sports entertainment and online gaming sector. So hopefully with this relationship and acquisition, they can work further down the future. He's looking forward to what the future brings as a combined company and is confident this relationship will be a huge success. So in my book, I think it was an expensive acquisition, but they don't have to upkeep all the physical locations. They are getting all the technology that's going to help them advance their iGaming sector, and they're also establishing a really good relationship with the Golden Nugget. But you guys let me know your thoughts in the comments below, what you guys think about the Golden Nugget acquisition. I do want to give you guys an idea of what this brings to the table for DraftKings. Once this deal is at full maturity level, they are going to be bringing about $300 million. DraftKings will also deploy a multi-brand approach that will enhance their cross-selling opportunities and drive increased revenue growth. In addition, they're going to have multiple channels for cost savings, which we talked about is one of the things they really are struggling with. It also looks like they'll be able to enhance some of the returns on advertising through some marketing efficiencies, and they're also going to be eliminating some platform costs by moving Golden Nugget's technology over to DraftKings' platform. Additionally, DraftKings and Fertitta expect to rebrand some of their current and future sportsbook locations at some of the Golden Nugget properties into DraftKings sportsbooks. So it looks like they are going to expand some of the physical locations after all, but for now I don't really have more details on that. We'll just kind of have to see as events unfold. Alright guys, now I want to pivot over to the Unusual Whales platform. Like I said, if you're interested in signing up, definitely use the link down below to save a little bit. But this is going to be one of the filters that I use. It's going to be a very generic filter. It's just going to filter out all the orders underneath 25,000. So everything coming in here is going to be above that price range. And just leading into earnings, you can see most of the flow coming in was on the bearish side. They were selling the 15.5 calls for May 27th. They were also selling the $16 calls for this week, and they were also buying the 14.5 puts for this week. So in hindsight, it did look pretty obvious now that they are expecting a sell-off going into earnings and after post earnings. Obviously today more of that sell-off continued, and they basically piled onto some of those bearish positions by opening and selling calls for next week and going into mid-June. As you can see, the one that I hearted here is going to be a 15.5 call for next week, and you can see this is a 75k order. They opened about 3,800 contracts and they were selling those calls for about 19 cents. One thing that I like to do is actually expand those contracts and check out the open interest versus volume. So you can see that before today there actually wasn't much open interest, but as far as today there was huge volume for these contracts, having a huge inflow of volume of about 14,000 contracts. So this will be one thing that I'll be watching going into Monday and see how many of these contracts actually were held overnight. But we'll have to wait for Monday to be able to get some of that data. What I want to do now is actually expand the intratrade analysis for DraftKings. That's going to open up this new tab here, intratrade analysis, and I'm going to go down to the full chain breakdown and actually take a look at those contracts for 15.5 for next week, and just to get an idea of the overall flow. So 15.5 for May 13th, you can see most of that flow is going to be on the bearish side. So you have 10k versus about 4.08k bullish side. So what this is telling me is that most likely these calls are being sold for premium instead of being bought. From the same intraday analysis tab, I want to shift over to the flow levels here and actually give you guys a better breakdown of the expiration timeline. So from here you can actually see the premium by expiration date. So for the next week, May 13, you can see more bearish premium is going to be here. They had 2 million in call premium, 1.9 million in put premium, but the overall bullish and bearish premium is going to be 37 to 62%, giving the bearish premium about 2.4 million. So it looks like some of the bearish premium is here, but also some of these calls were probably on the bearish side, so selling those calls as well. So telling us that there might not be some upside in the short term for this week. And that basically continues going into May 20th and also May 27th. You can see the bearish premium definitely outweighs the bullish, 61% to 38 and 69% to 30%. Obviously, these are smaller premium values, still telling us that there is slightly more bearish flow coming in for DraftKings. So that's just giving you an idea of the next coming weeks that I do see some downside, but I also do want to show you guys a more visual aid. This is going to be the minimum premium of 30k. From here you can see the breakdown by expiration, and you can see May 13, May 20, we do have more bearish premium going into May 27th as well. For the month of June, it's gonna probably be 50-50, kind of in the middle. We'll see if we can get more flow by that timeline and actually get a better idea of where they're headed. But most of that bearish flow is gonna be striked at 15 strike in the 14.5, as well as even the $9 strikes. So definitely in the short term, I do see some more downside, especially with the current market conditions. And from here you can just see that the overall bearish premium is going to be about 58% overall. But I don't want to make this video too long. If you guys are interested in looking at some of the flow, definitely check out the link in the description below. Alright guys, I want to wrap up the video by just doing some technical analysis on the chart. I am basically going to focus on the 1 hour. Obviously we've had a high of around $64, but now we're trading around $13. So I'm just going to cover some of the most recent price action. So I've already marked out some of our supports. These are going to be from our most recent price action. And the ones down here below are actually from March 2020. It's crazy we haven't seen these lows since 2020. So definitely a great opportunity to start maybe picking up some shares here and there. Right now it does look like we broke from this nice support here that we had. We tried to get back above it, but we got rejected. And it also actually looks like we're now trading underneath this nice support of around $13.30 as we closed at $13.50. So I think in the short term we could be coming down to about $13.45. Let me mark this out for you guys. So $13.30 is a nice support that we've had. We've come and tested it here before. If the market continues to sell off, I would expect our downtrend to come back to around $11.50. But on the bright side, if markets do start to rally, we really could come back up to around $15 if we can break above this $13.70. So this is going to be our monthly for May. So this is going to be a level to watch for. So clearing some of that out of the way, the last thing I want to cover is going to be the OBV levels here. And we haven't really tested these lows since March 22. As you can see, we broke this nice support from February 2022. We retested that a few weeks ago, most recently as well, and now we actually are breaking down to this level. So I do think DraftKings is at a very pivotal point right now. If we break down here, from what I can see in the chart, we haven't really tested these levels down here. I might need to go to a bigger time frame, but if we do break underneath this, I would definitely see those $11.50, which I mentioned before. Again though, on the bright side, this could also be a triple bottom here, so that could be very bullish if we do bounce off. Then we probably try to break back up to about this level here, and then hopefully work our way out of this downtrend that we've been in for some time. So guys, that's going to wrap up the video. Just wanted to give you guys an update on DraftKings earnings, the Golden Nugget acquisition, and just give you guys an update of what they've been up to lately. If you guys would like to see more videos like this, let me know in the comments below, and definitely take a look at the Unusual Whales platform if you guys are interested in options flow and improving your options trading. I think that'll be a great tool to your options trading strategy. Don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe to the channel for future videos like these. If you guys have any questions or just want to let me know what your weekend plans are, definitely put them down in the comments below. I hope you guys have a great day. I will see you guys in the next video, and as always, keep moving forward.